channelizing and investing more on the digital, and how can we amplify more the digital and technology bit, and how can we build those channels and gain some transactions out of there. What additional skills you want above store level is that definitely the shift is now moving from offline to online.
Yes.
So offline focus of brand, how you were building offline brand, which is more traditional way of building brand. On the online brand, you will need more technology marketeers. When the lid got opened 3 days prior to previous Eid, what had happened? We saw 4 billion rupee of economy movement in just 2 days.
Yeah.
So, that's what my belief is. I think that as the lid opens up, people, investors, entrepreneurs will look into more opportunities where they can go and invest.
Our guest today is Mr. Raza Pirbhai, CEO KFC and Capola Pakistan. Raza is also a member of Parvaz's working panel on hospitality and retail services. Welcome to the platform, Raza.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jawad sir. Thanks for having me.
Raza, can we start by asking you for a brief introduction of KFC's business in Pakistan and other businesses that Capola Group is involved in?
Right. So let me just give you the brief that KFC has been operating in Pakistan for last almost 21 years. And we now have a footprint of around 95 restaurants across Pakistan. We are the largest operator in terms of retail operations, food retail operations in Pakistan. And we have the largest market share as well. That is what KFC is up to. With regards to other businesses, that what we're doing, which is not related to food anymore. We used to have many food ventures that Capola kind of invested into. But we have got out of that, and currently, with regards to other businesses, food, KFC is the major platform that we hold right now.
Wonderful. Thank you for the introduction, Raza. Now, you're seeing the devastating impact of COVID-19 on businesses globally, and the businesses in Pakistan are no different, especially the F&B restaurant businesses. Given the lockdown, they've still not been allowed to open. What has been the impact of COVID specifically on KFCs and in general on the F&B and restaurant businesses across Pakistan?
Right. So, look, what has happened in COVID, certainly with regards to F&B, your dine-in business has disappeared. That's the biggest, huge challenge that one faces. Now, if you go to the larger retail or food spectrum, they are suffering more than what we are suffering. Why we are suffering less is that because we were already investing very heavily on the digital and the delivery footprint. Mm-hmm. Delivery for the last 7-8 years has really been a very, very stronger channel for us. And with delivery, we are also investing very much on drive-through as well. So convenience and ease has actually been the key driver in the last 5 to 7 years, if you see all together. What has happened in COVID, that COVID has impacted hugely, primarily on the dining and takeaway business. So your 50-60% of the business has disappeared. With us, still it seems to be more manageable because, as I shared, that we have a very solid delivery footprint, and we have been investing heavily on technology as well. Not because of COVID, but we were already engaged very much and very actively. We were amplifying our digital platform. So that has really helped us, and we have been able to survive much better. But yes, the impact is huge because almost it has taken away 50-60% of your business. So it's really getting tough. But for now, the question is, how do we stay afloat and how do we survive? So there has been more focus in channelizing and investing more on the digital, and how can we amplify more the digital and technology bit, and how can we build those channels and gain some transactions out of there.
So Raza, having said that you're changing the delivery model now, rather than the people coming into restaurants, it's now more delivery to their homes. How has that shift in the model impacted employment and jobs? Have a lot of people lost jobs in the dining business, restaurant business, or have they been reallocated to different jobs? Has the industry been able to save jobs, or you have been forced to let go a lot of people?
So if you talk about the overall industry, definitely overall industry is struggling and they had to do major layoffs. Let me tell you one advantage that we also have is, apart from delivery, because we are a QSR, it's a quick service food, which is much more easier to actually wrap and deliver, and it's easy to consume at home also. But for the other businesses, if you see the industry at large, which is much more, which has casual dinings and fine dinings and, fast casual dinings, those food are not really very delivery friendly too. So, and consumers don't really want to spend that much money on casual dining while sitting at home. So they have really been struggling. We have seen major layoffs happening in those kind of food places. With regards to KFC specific, we haven't really laid off a single person. The day one when we were hit with COVID, we were very clear that what is really our game plan is going to be. And I as a leader believe that if you have a much clearer and a very, very specific game plan and you roll it out to everybody that what this priority is going to be, if the message is clear, then you're able to kind of chase that very well. And we were very clear, what are we going to really do in this COVID times? So the major priority was to save jobs. One was people and one was brand protection. These were the two areas where we were focusing on. When I say brand protection meaning that, we're going to look after the health, safety, hygiene, so that nothing really goes on. Nothing goes on wrong with our people, and so is that we protect our customers as well. That's how we're going to protect brand. Okay. So what we really struggled in this COVID time was that all of a sudden we had to rewrite our standards, and that has to be rolled out very quickly. That was the big struggle that we faced. But the focus, as I said, was pretty simple. You just got to save people. We're not going to lay off anybody. And we are going to protect the brand. So these two were the principles that we were chasing. And luckily, alhamdulillah, so far we haven't really laid off a single person. Culture has really been the, has been the foundation of what we kind of, has built this brand for last 6-7 years when we started to transform the brand. And in that culture, what we have been saying for the last 5 years, we want to be transparent. We want to operate with heart. We want to, that's what our real big philosophy is, to operate with heart. Yeah. And you have seen the kind of, not only the CSR, the external work that we do, but internally we want to be transparent, compassion, respect. These are the key pillars that we have built on. And it is, it is these kind of times when the culture and leaders are tested. What you have really been saying for last 4, 5 years or 6 years, can you really hold on to what you have been saying or not? So these were the real time of test for us. But alhamdulillah, so far we have really been managing it well. We haven't done any layoff. I think the team is pretty much aligned. The business has supported us. One good thing that has happened also is that because there has been a shift from dining to delivery altogether, and since we've had a very strong footprint in delivery, so a lot of new business or new customers have also shifted to us. Sure. Because we are providing that, home service, which wasn't really, which is not really now available from other F&B joints.
For sure, for you. No, Raza, it's very heartening to know that in being a part of an industry which has been so adversely affected by this pandemic, your company has been able to hold on to all the jobs. So well done on that. I just want to get to the next question, which is about your outlook for the next 12 to 18 months. Is it about trying to get back to the 2019 levels of business? Is it you still feel that there's going to be, revenues are still going to stay down? Do you feel there are new growth opportunities? What's your outlook?
So our outlook is for next 3 months up until October. We feel that we will somewhere be floating on just on the surface. There won't be any more growth that we would see from last year. But post October, we are very hopeful that we will see good growth coming in. My outlook is, if I study all the global markets who have actually opened, their business have really bounced back very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So if you look at Asia, if you look at even US right now, also, when they actually opened, regardless of the numbers of virus or anything, just keep that aside. I'm just talking on the business side.
Yeah.
Economically, they have really bounced back very well, and so has that been seen with the food retail, and especially QSR, not with fast casual and casual dining and fine dining. They are badly struggling. The hotel industry is badly struggling. It is just the convenience food has actually, they have a good growth, and they are globally seeing a good growth coming in. So that's where the game has actually really been, very powerful. And that's what, we also see. It's just that we will have to play around with the channel where the growth is coming from. As what you said also. Yes, there has to be more drive-thrus. There has to be more delivery footprint. There has to be more focus on digital. Because now the digital channel has also grown. So that's where we are trying to amplify our game also. That's where our focus is. So next 2-3 years, yes, there has to be. So what has really shifted, if I tell you specifically, we were heavily investing on constructing brick and mortar, opening up more stores, and that's where major of our investments used to go. I think the shift is now going to happen, where we will still be opening more stores in the near future, but we will have to equally spend perhaps, or split it up and spend more on the technology side as well. That's where you'll have to kind of you have to uplift your game there in technology. You won't be, so it would be 50-50 split perhaps. Very earlier it used to be 80-20. 80 used to be brick and mortar, 20 technology, but now it has to be more 50-50 or 60-40 rather. 60 technology would take and 40 the brick and mortar would take. So.
No, but that's a very interesting shift, Raza, because what it also means is that the kind of people, the skills that you're going to be hiring for going forward is also going to change. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of new skills are you going to be looking for in people when you hire over the next 12 to 18 months?
Okay, so, so we look at from the hiring point of view, the way we divide is one is above store and then the other is the in-store population. I think the in-store mix of hiring will not change. Okay, we will just what will change is that we'll be hiring more delivery riders as compared to other crew members. That is really going to change. So one skill in-store, perhaps what you would require is somebody who can drive, who has a bike, who has a driving license. That's something which, but this was always the case, by the way, because the growth was always coming from delivery. So there was always more requirement of delivery riders. And this is with not with us only, but if you go around in the F&B world, there's more opportunity. Even if you look at pre-COVID, for 4-5 years, they would be hiring majorly on the riders or delivery footprint. What additional skills you want above store level is that definitely the shift is now moving from offline to online. So offline focus of brand, how you were building offline brand, which is more traditional way of building brand. On the online brand, you will need more technology marketeers. Marketeers who can actually help you with technology. The traditional marketeers who are conventional, who could build very good brick and mortar and conventional marketing. But over here now you need technology marketeers. So how do you, so that's the skill that we're looking for also, and that's the hiring that we would be making in future. Anything pertaining to delivery, digital, and technology, that's where we would be hiring people, and that's where the focus is going to be. And marketing technology, I think now technology has actually clubbed in marketing. So it is really, really very important that when you hire marketeers are well aware of and they are well versed with technology. Otherwise, you can be very good with the conventional marketing, but the new marketing, you would never be able to understand what that is. And that's where the main game is.
Absolutely. No, that's absolutely correct. Which also brings me to talk a little bit about your current workforce. These skill sets that you've just mentioned are the same kind of skill sets that you also want to train your current workforce in. And given the current situation where on-site trainings have currently been suspended and may never return the way they used to be before, is your business turning more and more towards online learning platforms to meet the learning and development needs of your current workforce?
So look, I'll tell you that again, we divide the workforce in above store and in-store. So our in-store was always, like for the last 3.5 years, when we shifted to online. So our entire restaurant curriculum is online available. And this has been the case for last 4 years.
Okay.
So everybody in store goes through an e-learning system. They have their own ID. They have their own modules which are being assigned to them. They have to cross each module. And from orientation to all the ladders that they have to cross, till that the guy becomes a restaurant manager and even above store, which is an area manager level, all the modules and all the learnings are on e-learning. They were already available. Nothing specific that we're doing with regards to COVID.
Okay.
So that was already in place, and e-learning is a very, very strong system that we already had for last 4 years.
Okay.
So nothing actually we have changed, to be honest, in post-COVID. With above store also leadership, there was a very strong e-learning system. For example, I'll tell you that even I have to go through certain modules. To hold this chair also, I have to go through certain modules, and I can do it at my own convenience. But then there is a certain number of hours that I have to spend in store in a year. And then there is a certain number of courses that I have to opt. This was already, the curriculum was already designed that way. For each and every position, it is that way. Okay. So our e-learning system has already been very strong. I guess there has been major focus globally, not just KFC Pakistan, but globally KFC's focus had really been on that. Okay. So, it's very robust. And I tell you, the advancement that we are doing right now on our online learning and digital learning, it's just amazing. It's amazing. Okay. And now the modern way of actually involving and engaging our teams have been just superb. We are gamifying and introducing trainings through gamifications. There are, like, for example, if you go on a particular station and you want to know how the burger is made, all what you got to do is you just, with your smartphone, you just have to go on the Q code and take that code, and it will give you all the details of the station as well. So you can learn through that digitally. So it has already been there, and we had already been investing into it for long.
Interesting. So, this is fabulous. And I think that's a sentiment that's being shared across the industry about how learning is going to change. So that's one thing you talked about. This pandemic, what it has also done is, made us to innovate very quickly and innovate fast to be able to ensure business continuity. Raza, are there any 2 or 3 things innovations that come to your mind that you took on to ensure business continuity, but are now going to become a permanent part of your business and operating model?
So I think what really is going to change in our operating model is, I tell you, we used to think, or we used to build our strategy based on brick and mortar. That used to be our central way of, that's how we used to kind of look at our game. But now I think that is the biggest change that I see in our model that will change is now the decision making will be made more on digital delivery. That's the shift is going to happen.
I see.
Now dining perhaps will never be the central decision making point, or we would not design everything around dining anymore. I presumably that's what we feel. I think the change now post-COVID would be that how are we more ease and convenience friendly? That be it our place or be it your place. So our restaurants design, everything will need to be changed. Our model will be more delivery friendly. Our model will be more digitally friendly, so that even whether you are having food at our place or your place, it has to be a very seamless experience at both ends.
Yes.
So that's where the major shift, I guess, that is where it's going to come.
Okay.
On the innovation part that you said, that what exactly that we have done is, I think we've done a hell lot of the things on responding it very quickly. For example, our takeaway right now is not the takeaway that we used to do. It's a car hop takeaway.
Okay.
And that has never been there in our model. So we had to quickly respond and respond very remotely, because this is something which we haven't done it before. This was something which was totally new to even our technology could not respond that way. So we had to really redesign everything very, very quickly. Okay. Now, if you go to KFC, so we are now serving three channels basically. One is delivery, one is drive-through, where we have drive-through, and the other is car hop. Car hop takeaway has become a very big proportion also now. So people come in the car and they park their car, and then somebody's going to take the order, and then they will service you there. That's a car hop, which has developed, which has never been the case earlier. But we had to design it very quickly. So we had to arrange for parking, we had to arrange for technology, we had to train our people. That has all been very innovative, and I never realized that we would be able to do it so quickly.
I see.
But I think that as you say, when there is crisis, you collaborate like crisis, right? So we were able to kind of respond very well to that. So these were a couple of things that I just wanted to share that will give you a flavor of what we really responded in this crisis.
Raza, your business seems to have navigated this crisis very well up to now, but a lot of other players in the industry are still struggling. Do you think there are certain initiatives that the industry can take collectively to try and save jobs?
I think the government needs to step in. And especially the smaller, industry joints needs to be supported. Even we are actually, I'm not saying that we have navigated and we have got to, but just imagine that we are also like 50-60% has disappeared. Right? So it's just that you're operating on 40-45%, but you're still trying to manage your game, right? It is struggling for us. So for the ones whose business has almost disappeared 95%, I just fail to understand how are they going to survive, whether they're going to be there, whether they'll ever open their shop again or not. So I think government has actually provided a couple of schemes as well. The State Bank has provided this salary scheme, but I don't know whether that is applicable to the SMEs or not. I think it should be applicable to them, to the smaller operators as well, so they can benefit. The others is that the landlords and all, government needs to step up and, introduce some sort of a scheme, because you need to kind of answer to the fixed costs that those, the industry people have. You need to help them or handhold them on their fixed costs. So one is labor, one is their rentals, and one is their utility. I think these are the three things if the government steps in. And the landlords agree, because in Pakistan, the problem is that the ones who are wealthy, they are more hungry. So, and And this has really been the case that I see, even when we run our, we run a huge CSR. So one of the interesting stats on the CSR is that the lowest or the lower income areas where we have our restaurants, they give you higher donations. So they have more heart towards the, they can actually feel around and see that what others are going through. I think so. My philosophy is that it's just the ones who are much wealthier, they are more hungry. So I think that if the landlords give some sort of a flexibilities to the people, so perhaps this entire industry will survive. Otherwise, I see every now and there are people who are laying off, their shops closing down, they can't really afford their fixed costs. And so there's a huge crisis going on around.
Raza, any message for the youth? Because they are graduating from colleges and universities, they're coming into the job market. It seems it probably is the worst time to enter the job market in perhaps a century. What do you think, what is a message that, business leaders of today can give them in these despondent times to lift their hopes?
Okay, so one is that, I tell you that our situation is very different from the Western economies. So our, young graduates should be really very hopeful that as the economy opens back, which it has partially opened and it is responding very well. In the next 3 to 6 months, I see there'll be good opportunities coming in, so they don't really have to have a kind of a hopeless sort of a time. They should be hopeful. I think it's just what they should do right now is that they should not get, demotivated or they should not really lose hope. Rather look for more opportunities that they can actually right now, which they think they can, because new guys, these new people coming in, new kids, they have a lot of ideas. So they can really tap on a lot of, opportunities which perhaps the conventional people might not be looking at. One is this, that they should look for that. The second is go on the road of entrepreneurship. That's always very, very healthy if they can really do that. Because during these kind of crises, there are many more new hands that would come in, and they can really grab those opportunities. Third is those who wants to go on the conventional route of going and seeking for job. They just need to be patient enough, because I think, and that's my view, that Pakistan is really going to be a different economy than what the Western world is seeing is different. What this part of the country, this part of the world, what will happen is we will see that our economy is actually going to get better in the next 3 to 6 months. A, we are very resilient. B, we are seeing a double kind of a crisis. There was a pre-COVID economy crisis, which we were already into. And what in this COVID climate, what has happened is that some of the measures that the government has actually taken are very, very good and very encouraging as well, which itself will take us out of the crisis where we were. So we are going to be in a good shape. And one other phenomena, which is going to be very, by itself, is that when you close down everything, the moment the lid is going to open, it is going to be a big bubble that is going to come out. So there'll be a bubble of opportunity that will come out, because everything right now is under the lid. We have seen that when the lid got opened 3 days prior to previous Eid, what had happened. We saw 4 billion rupee of economy movement in just 2 days. So, that's what my belief is. I think that as the lid opens up, people, investors, entrepreneurs will look into more opportunities where they can go and invest. So there'll be more coming in. It's just that this cloud has to fade away.
Well, on that optimistic note, thank you so much, Raza, for making the time and talk to us. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you very much, Jawad sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Good day, sir. Bye-bye.